The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network.
High school football is on the air. The Oneida Indians, the Scott Highlanders, with Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and their entire broadcast teams. This is Tennessee's most complete high school football coverage.
Sponsored by Twin K, South Fork Physical Therapy, First National Bank, El Rey, Lumber King, Ray's Axe, Danny's Drugs, TNT Car Wash, Tommy's Motorsports, and Mountain People's Health Councils.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, Friday Night Football begins now.
Good Monday evening, everyone. Welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. I am Ben Garrett. This is the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith. Unfortunately, Rick Keaton unable to be with us tonight. He is tending to his mother, who's still sick, and we certainly are thinking about her this evening and wishing her all the best. And we got a lot coming your way tonight. We've got our scholar athletes coming up in a minute. We've got our players of the game, our linemen of the game. We've got an Oneida soccer player to talk about a philanthropy project that she's doing. We've got cheerleaders. But first, let's talk about what happened Friday night, Tim. And let's start with Oneida going to Greenback, 3-game losing streak, needing something good to happen. And they got something good to happen. They won in a big way at Greenback, 31-6, the final on Friday for Oneida.
They did, and the Indians aren't in a position to take anyone for granted right now, and they didn't do that. You talk about winning the ones that you're supposed to win, and the Indians would have been favored by most folks to win this one. They would be supposed to win this one, and so sometimes that can factor in, and maybe the practices get a little loosey-goosey. You're not on your A game and your edge, and the other team is very much focused and coming in. They're not there to just watch you beat them. So I think the Indians deserve credit for coming in on Friday night and focusing on the opponent and focusing on being a better version of the Indians than worrying about who they were playing. It's kind of the thing the old Crimson Tide coach, Nick Saban, used to say is no matter who you're playing, you're trying to be better than you were a week ago. And I feel like that's what the Indians were doing. They had some things that weren't going their way, injuries. Jesse Zachary was unavailable for Oneida. More line injuries cropped up for the Indians during the game, and so it's been an injury-plagued season. Everybody has the injuries and deals with those. So the Indians have struggled to overcome that much of the year. But coming in, having lost their last 3, didn't want to put 4 in a row together. Plus, they're playing a team in Greenback that has they've had just a roller coaster year. They started with Coach Tommy Clemmer. And there had been some dissension over that from the very beginning because he wasn't Greg Ryan. And Greg Ryan's not coming through the door, it does appear. I mean, he wanted to at one point, they're saying, but it didn't happen. And so they started under Coach Clemmer, and then Coach Clemmer was relieved of his duties through the year. Our understanding and talking to the Greenback folks when we got there is they had 13 players when Coach Clemmer was when he departed the team. They were back up to about 34. So they had some seniors come back out. One thing that I noticed about the Cherokees is the starters were very, very young. The quarterback was a freshman. The offensive line had 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores. So I figure those are the guys that hung around and were, part of that 13, and they're being rewarded for hanging in there and being around the whole time. And they're good athletes. I mean, they played a lot of football. The one thing about this Greenback program, if they get things on track, they have a lot of folks that have some experience in playing football games right now. They've only won 1. The one they won was against Oakdale, and they scored 30 points in that one. But the rest of the season, it has been a struggle for them to score. So they had been shut out 3 times in 7 games when we went in there on Friday night, and they were able to mount a drive late in the game to get points on the board. It was actually a 4th and goal from the 5, and they came up with a great call and a big play to get some points on the board. So I think the Cherokees got better out of Friday night. I think Oneida got better in what they were doing. I think we saw, and we're going to talk to him a little bit later, I've got to know Cole Meredith, not that Cole hasn't been good and hadn't been a threat, but he just looked like a different person on Friday night. And we said it through the broadcast. we hadn't seen Cole Meredith run the football like he did on Friday night. So I'm interested to hear his take on why that was different. We saw Gabe Brennan do a nice job distributing the football on Friday night, and the Indians seem to be, be executing their plan, and they seem to be a bit relaxed and not tense, which is something that I feel like they have been in this 3-game losing streak. But we'll see, because this Friday it's going to certainly step up a big notch for the Indians, I feel like, when they travel to the Kings Academy, a team that's played a very tough schedule. They're 2-6. So, again, as a coach, you're trying to make sure that the kids know, now this is a 2-6 team, but this is the best 2-6 team you could go up against right now. They're playing a lot of very good private school competition. They've got a tough schedule. So the Indians need to build off of that. Hopefully they get a little bit healthier and are able to just take another step forward and play improved football. That's what they did Friday night. They took care of business against Greenback, and now they sit. I'll mention this. We mentioned it in the broadcast. Oneida all-time history, that was win number 599 for the Oneida football program. So you've got the Kings Academy and you've got Bledsoe County. You've got an opportunity before 2024 expires to get win number 600, and you would think this week is the more likely opportunity than the week following against Bledsoe, which will be senior night at home. So that's an opportunity too. But I know, Coach May, in talking about it, he's aware of what the number is, and he would like to get number 600 out of the way this year and get that under the Indians' belt. So the opportunity is going to be there Friday, but they're going to have to play as well as they did and probably better than they did on Friday night to take home a win when we go to Seymour.
All right, so Oneida defeats Greenback 31-6. Rick is not here to talk about the Scott High game. Scott High falls to Alcoa 56-14. The big thing about this game, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity since Friday night to watch that game, Scott High came out. They were really timid. We talked about it off the air in the first half, and then Coach Bill Hall, the elder, Bill Hall Sr., whatever you want to, I don't know what makes him sound less old, he talked to us at halftime, and he said on there, he said, we were really timid in the first half, and they were. But the second half, Scott High came out. They played much better football. Actually outscored Alcoa in the second half. Now, this is a region game, and you're not counting moral victories, but when it's Alcoa and Scott High, two programs that are in very different places right now, I thought that was a big step for Scott High in the second half against Alcoa on Friday night. Got a couple of touchdowns. We're going to talk to the guy later on who scored both of those, which was Dawson Spradlin. And so Scott High falls to Alcoa 56-14 for both of our teams. Nothing has changed from a playoff perspective. Everything is still the way that it was. And unfortunately, we're not sure that either of our two teams control their own destiny. But at the same time, neither of our two teams are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So still things to play for. And we're going to jump into Week 9 this week. You mentioned Oneida is going to go to the Kings Academy. That's a tough team. Scott High is going to host Pickett County, still looking for their first win. Great opportunity to get it for Scott High this Friday night. You got to feel like at home. Obviously, we'll talk more about that as we get later into the show. And right now, we're going to take our first break. We want to thank Little's Drugs and Fountain, as always, for sponsoring this first segment. If you need lunch or if you need dinner, they're open until 6 on weekdays. Go out and see the folks at Little's Drugs and Fountain. When we come back, we're going to talk to our scholar athletes from last week, Scarlett Wells and Lydia Klein, right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, live from the C. Michael Lake Technology Center in Helenwood. Alongside Tim Smith, I'm Ben Garrett, and now we are joined by our scholar athletes from last week, presented by Stand, and those are Scott High senior Scarlett Wells. She's a member of the Marching Highlander Band, the drum major, she just told us, of the Scott High Band this year. She has a GPA of 4.0, and also Lydia Klein, a senior at Oneida, member of the cheer squad, and it still seems weird for me to sit here and not say you're a member of basketball or whatever, but member of the Oneida High School cheerleading squad, Tim. And now, and I told Scarlett that you're a resident band expert, and we talked about how he was all-state in band back in the day. Were you ever a drum major of your band?
I was never all-state. I was all-state East, but never all-state. Never drum major either, no. Yep, so I'm going to go ahead, Ben, with some
jump
questions
right
here, and then they're going to ask us questions later. We understand. So,
Easy ones. Easy ones.
So we'll give you the opportunity to do that. But I'm going to start with Lydia to my left. Lydia, so this is your second appearance on the round table, so you've had a chance to be here, and I think I asked a little bit about this last time, but I just want to say, as a scholar athlete, there are always things that can get in the way of study time. And maybe I should be studying, but is there 2 or 3 things that you find yourself doing that you really should be studying, but you fail to do that and you do something else that you have to fight, just to let everybody else know that you're human too?
I'd say it's easier now with just cheer, but basketball and soccer, it's harder to manage 5 days a week.
Right.
And just things like that.
So is there any like leisure time activity you do that gets you away from the books and you have to say, no, I can't do this right now? Movies, TV?
I would say just friends in general, just hanging out with friends.
Hanging with friends?
Yeah. So
Okay. Okay, Scarlett, I'm going to ask you the same question. Does it just come natural to just study, or and now some people don't have to put in a lot of time in the books. I had friends like that would just, make 100 on a test, and I've studied. I'm not going to lie, I didn't study 7 hours for anything, but I studied 3 hours, and they just walk in and ace a test. Which one are you? Do you have to put a lot of time in, or do you just know the answers?
I just kind of know. I'm one of those people, if I hear it, I can pretty much remember it and know it right off the bat on the test. Sometimes I struggle a little bit more, but I never really put in any studies time, like I said.
Well, and that'll probably end when you go to college. Right. So, yeah, that's when you talk about it ending in a hurry. For me, I found out, nope, you're not going to pass economics by just cruising through. So what is a subject that seems to be the most challenging for you?
Honestly, I would say either science or math. With reading and English, it's always come more naturally, but with math and science, I actually do have to pay a little bit more attention, and that's not something I'm really good at all points in time. So. Okay.
All right. I'm going to ask you the same thing, Lydia. We've all got our strengths and weaknesses. What's your strongest subject? What's the one you don't even have to crack the book on? It's just like it's already up there. And what's one that you have to work harder on?
I wouldn't say any of them come easy to me.
Okay.
I'm not one of those people who, if I have an A, it's because I had to work for it.
Okay.
But I would say math is probably my strongest, and then reading would be my hardest.
Okay, so math takes a little less studying than reading in English. Okay, so now that being said, next year, where are you gonna continue your education?
Well, I was really interested in Auburn, and I've got accepted to a few places, but I went to the Tennessee game on Saturday, so we might be making some changes.
You lean into something a little closer now?
Maybe something a little closer.
Did you visit Auburn?
I did, yes.
Now, it's a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
Great
I
barbecue.
Loved it. Yeah.
But what do you feel like Auburn offered that made you think you wanted to go there, though?
Just the environment is, and I just, the feeling that everybody talks about when you say, like, you get on the campus where, just that feeling. And then, it was beautiful. And then they have what I want to study, and it's a really good school, and then their values are really well, I think.
And they have a tree that if they win a football game,
you get to roll it.
You throw toilet paper in it. Where else can you do that?
Scott County.
Well,
it is October.
We got a lot of people training to go to Auburn around here this time of year, don't we? Okay, Scott, what about what are you thinking about next year? Do you know where you're going to go, or are you thinking about different places?
I'm leaning towards Tennessee Tech at the moment, but I haven't really decided yet.
Okay. Is there a certain major that you're thinking you want to study, or are you going to do music, or are you going to do something else?
I want to go into nursing. That's what I really want to do, but I would love to be able to do the marching band there if I have the time for it.
That's going to, since you seem to not have to study too much, you probably would have time to do the band. See, that's another thing. When I went to school, and Ben talked about me being in the band. So I did 2 years in the band. When I went to UT, I did 2 years in the band, and after 2 years, it became clear that you're going to take about 8 years to finish if you continue. So I had to exit the band and concentrate on my studies. But so nursing, are you looking to stay just like as a registered nurse, or on to a nurse practitioner, or the sky's the limit? What is there a certain place you'd want to practice when you got that?
I'm wanting to be a travel nurse, so just get my BSN and be a registered nurse and travel around and do what I love the most, which is helping people.
You get to see a lot of different places that way.
Yeah.
What's the biggest plus with travel nurse? Do you know?
Probably the pay.
Yeah.
The salary is really good.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. So, Lydia, what are you thinking about doing?
I want to go to law school.
You want to go to law school? Yeah. Okay. So, and do you have any certain type of law you want to practice? Or?
Yeah, I want to specialize in child abuse.
Okay. All right. So, an advocate.
Yep.
All right. That's awesome. So, and I'll ask Lydia first. Are you wanting to return to Scott County, or you want to stay in the area but not necessarily come back home, or do you have some place that, or does it matter where you wind
I go
up
back
practicing?
and forth probably. It's kind of hard to prosecute in your own county,
Right.
so you have to take that into consideration. But I'm not sure yet.
Okay. What about Scarlett? Practicing medicine. Where would you want to do that? Well, you said travel nurse, but is there? So let me ask this question then. What are some of the places you would hope to see if you're a travel nurse? Where's some places you'd like to go and see?
I would love to go anywhere. I've been up and down the East Coast a couple times. I've been to Wisconsin, Illinois, and then all the way down to Florida. And I just love seeing all the different communities and how people live their lives in different places. And I don't care. I would love to go to New York City or a small town in France one day. I really just want to go anywhere and do everything I can.
That's awesome. All right. So, Lydia, let me ask you then, turn in a little bit to the cheerleading. Here's a question I've thought since the last time you were here. You mentioned playing basketball, competitive sports, and then in cheerleader, you don't really have like a game where there's a winner as a cheerleader. Does that seem strange, or what's the goal if you're the cheerleader? What are you looking for, or what makes you satisfied with what you do?
Well, I would say camp is a really big deal during the summer.
Okay.
So we actually did win the banana this year. I don't.
So what's that?
I don't.
Hey, you look at Ben. Does Ben know what that is?
I'm the wrong girl to ask.
I'm the wrong guy to ask.
I mean, okay.
I think it's something about spirit, maybe.
A spirit competition.
I don't know. I'm a basketball player. I still don't know the cheer rules.
Okay, but let me go further with this. I feel like a 60 Minutes reporter. So where did this take place?
ETSU.
Okay, so it's ETSU, and the banana, is that a physical banana that is
so
eaten?
we have it at our school, and they say it's a really big deal to win. Our cheer coach cried when we won.
Okay.
So I was like, I guess we done something right. I don't know.
So it's not an actual banana, though, because it would be deteriorated banana.
Yeah, it's a big blow-up banana.
Gotcha.
And then we also won some, medals. I don't really remember what all medals we won, but
for different individual what are some individual things they look at?
Best dance, I think your sideline cheers won.
Okay.
I'm the wrong girl to ask. You're going to have to ask.
Ask Ben.
Yeah, ask Ben.
Ben was an all-state cheerleader, you know.
Yeah.
No. So now, the different. How many people were on the team
18.
when you went? Yeah, 18.
18.
Is there a limit? Does it have to be 18? Can it be more?
No, we actually added 2 girls this year. So
Okay.
it was 16 in past years. We added 2 this year.
Okay. All right. Now, Scarlett, I'm going to ask you about competition. You just come off of a competition this week. One of the things that I don't think a lot of people know that bands have these weekend competitions, and generally 3, maybe 4. That would be a big schedule. But the early part of the season is trying to learn the show. When the first game comes out, you might have 2 songs down, right?
Yeah.
That's doing pretty good. But then by mid-season, you're hoping you have the show rounded in place. And as a drum major, and I know Ben knows this very well, the job of the drum major is very important, because if you don't do your job properly, nobody sounds good, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
They're all looking to you, right? And as the drum major, you are judged individually. There is, at these competitions, there are people walking around with little tape recorders, Ben, and it's and they will critique everything, and there'll be somebody standing right there. She's trying to do her job, and there's some guy standing right there talking into his tape recorder. You're not doing this, and you're not doing that, and you go back and listen to it. It's like watching, like football teams watch tape. They do to improve. So, what's something that you've had to work on as a drum major that you've wanted to improve this year?
Really, there's so much. A lot of bands have a junior and a senior drum major, which our band is not really big enough to do. So you really just kind of get thrown in it without any experience. And you're learning how to not only perform correctly, but also and lead the band. Because it's a lot more than just getting up there and waving your hands around to the beat. It's you're really a lot of the band members have said that I'm like their big sister now, and I love them with every fiber of my being, and just growing that community is one of the most important parts to me, because it doesn't matter what we get at the end of the day.
So is this your first year as drum major?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Who did you watch as drum major and you were like, they do a good job, I want to be like them?
Well, all of the past drum majors have really blown me away, but especially my freshman year, Chris Book was the drum major at the time, and now C is one of the drum majors at Tennessee Tech, and C is just amazing, and it was such a joy to be in her band my freshman year.
All right, and let me ask you this too. Sometimes as a drum major, you're their friend, you're like their family, their sister or whatever, but sometimes you have to impose discipline, right? I mean, right? And that's a tough role to have to play. So did you have to do that some this year too?
Yeah, our band is, I think it's 50% incoming, so either freshmen or people who weren't in the band for the past couple of years. So we're definitely having to make sure they know the rules and everything and know how to act when we're at competitions. So sometimes I do have to be a little bit mean, but I really don't like it.
Right. Nobody likes to do it, but for the better of the band, you got to do what it takes, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Lydia, who cracks the whip on the Oneida cheerleading squad? Who makes sure if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, who gets them back in line?
Like, I would probably say Addie
Sexton,
the coach.
Addie Sexton. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's not really like basketball, I wouldn't say, like where you have like a leader
upperclassmen.
Or
yeah.
I don't really feel like it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got a couple of games left in the season, and you're both seniors. So, and unless some mathematical things happen, there's just 2 games left in the season. What are you hoping, Lydia, that you are able to do in these last 2 games?
What I'm hoping.
Yeah. What do you hope the last 2 games turn out to be for the Indians?
Well, I hope that we can beat Bledsoe and Wartburg can win.
Yeah.
And then we can extend our season.
Well, she knows the math.
But I mean, I guess just enjoy every last minute of it, because people tell you when you're a freshman that it goes by really fast, and you don't really believe them. But I think it's all coming to show like it really does go really fast, and just enjoy the moments when it's boring or because you'll miss it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Scarlett, I'm going to ask you kind of the same question. Now, you're done with competitions, right? That was the last one. So these last 2 games, what's the goal for the band? What are you guys going to be trying to do?
Well, we have not had the whole marching show on the field since 2019. And we have launched the whole show this year. We weren't able to perform it this weekend. But these next 2 weeks, we're hoping to actually finish the marching show for the first time in 5 years and get the whole thing on the field, which we're so excited for. We're just really trying to get that done. And that's the most important things on our mind right now, but I really am trying to soak up every moment too, because I'm not ready for it to end. I've been crying a lot.
Well, we're going to change the subject then. I'm just going to say the turf. Have you enjoyed the turf, and looking forward to the final 2 games are going to be on that too? Has it been a big difference?
Yeah. It's always a joke in the marching band that the turf is a lot more slippery, so it's a little bit more scary when you're marching on turf. But I've really enjoyed the turf personally, and the setup of the field now. I love it, and it's really nice that we can have that, and it's such a privilege, really.
All right. Well, I thank you all. I thank the STAN program for allowing us to get to know you guys better. Congratulations on your academic achievements. I have no doubt y'all are going to do great things, and thanks for joining us.
So I didn't think Tim was ever going to get through asking questions so I could ask my question. He's long-winded.
Remember, they're supposed to ask a question, too.
No, you guys, we're out of time. But I do have a question. You said there's more to being a drum major than standing up there and waving your arms, which means you definitely know what it looks like to those of us, me, who don't know what we're doing, don't know anything about band. So back in 1997, Peyton Manning led the Tennessee band after a football game. You guys don't know who Peyton Manning is because that was a long time ago. But it kind of started a tradition for Tennessee quarterbacks, and maybe every Tennessee quarterback since then has led the band. They truly do get up on the ladder and wave their arms. Yeah. So Friday night, I saw you leading the band at halftime. It didn't dawn on me at the time that you were our scholar athlete, but now we know. But so can you obviously it's something that's probably hard to do in a nutshell. You're not going to teach me how to direct a band, but I mean, if you do this or you do this, I mean, how does your bandmates know how to respond to that? What are you signing to them?
So the big thing when you're conducting is the beat, which is typically in bovo for most songs, which means that there's 4 beats in a single measure. So it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, over and over and over again. So when I'm waving my hands around, I'm showing them where 1, 2, 3, and 4 is. And then as I point my hand towards them, I'm telling them, this is where you come in. Or if I'm raising my hand, I'm telling them, get louder right here. So it's just kind of trying to communicate what's happening musically to them at that time.
Okay. See?
That was a great
Lydia and I didn't know that. So education.
No.
Were either your parents in the band when they were in high school?
My dad was in the band when he was in middle school, but he did not have the financial ability to continue in high school. But he definitely planted that little seed in me. And it's something that I love doing now.
So no doubt he's there on Friday nights and on Saturday at the competitions to watch you?
He hasn't really. He's been to a few games and everything, but with this work schedule, it's hard for him to be there a lot. He's on call 24/7. So he doesn't really get to be there too much, but he still supports me.
Well, you tell him to go back and watch the IHSN from Friday night. We were able to get most of the halftime show, so he's got to go back and watch that.
I'll let him know.
Lydia, I asked her if her parents were in the band. Now, I know Mark Klein wasn't a cheerleader, but how about your mom? And I should know that because I went to Scott High at the same time she did. Did your mom cheer?
No.
Basketball.
Yeah, basketball.
Well, you can do both.
She was.
Can't you?
Yeah, I was going to do both this year, but.
Yeah. So how hard was it for your dad, really? I mean, I know, and he was here the last time you were on, and he acted like it. He was nonchalant. But did he want to cry just a little bit when you announced to him, I'm not going to play basketball this year, I'm going to cheer?
No, because it's not really it wasn't really too big of a decision just because, my body just can't keep up with it. So he's seen my tears on the side of it,
gotcha.
In pain and things like that. So it was just really about he would just wanted to support me in whatever way he could.
All right.
Yeah.
Scarlett, one more thing. This is a message for you to take back to your band director, Dr. Ryan Hoffman.
Yes.
So, as Tim said, 2 more football games remain, and then that's it for football. More pep band at basketball games this year. How about it?
Okay, I'm down for that. I love doing pep band.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell him that. Tell him that Tim Smith said more pep band in basketball.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Scarlett Wells, Scott High School. Lydia Klein, Oneida High School. Congratulations to you both on your academic success, and good luck the rest of the way this sports season. We're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to talk to Oneida soccer basketball player Cameron Stiltner on the roundtable. The roundtable continues on the IH Sports Network. Tim Smith, I'm Ben Garrett, and we're joined now by Cameron Stiltner. And Cam is a junior at Oneida High School. She plays basketball. She plays soccer. But tonight she's not here as a basketball player or a soccer player, but as Miss Scott County. And so folks at home may not realize, if they're not into beauty pageants, that being crowned Miss Scott County is not just about a pageant and being crowned. Once you're crowned, then you begin a year-long ambassadorship representing Scott County. So Tim, tell us what Cam is doing here, then she's going to tell us about her project.
Well, and I just want to say, I mean, I watched you win the title on the IHS or on the stream on South Fork Network and on the Independent Herald. So, that was a nice feature to be able to watch all those pageants this year. But as the Miss Scott County, there is a component to it that is like community service. And a lot of people, like you say, don't realize that. And you don't have to like pick one thing and just do it, right, Kim?
No. So there's actually a lot of work that goes into being Miss Scott County. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to give back to the community, but I did not know how much work goes into it, because like I've been going, I feel like, since like the beginning of September, just like doing so many partnerships, and I've been feeling very overwhelmed here recently, but it's all worth it.
Are you surprised at how much involvement there is? I mean, did you think, when you first signed up, did you think it's the pageant, and after the pageant, I'll go compete at the state, but what more is there to it? Did you realize?
I mean, I knew I really wanted to give back to the community. Like, that had been something I was really like wanting to do if I had won the pageant, because I just feel like not many queens in the past have just been too involved. So I just wanted to be able to just give back to the community. Just something that was really like laid on my heart to do. Okay, so obviously Hurricane Helene was devastating to the state of Florida in a lot of ways, but it was kind of a surprising devastation as it tracked more to the east of us. It could have been here that we got all that rain, but just to the east of us in the eastern edge of Tennessee and in North Carolina in particular, a lot of water in a fast amount of time and a lot of damage. We've seen the pictures, and this was something you wanted to address. Yes. So I have partnered with Laylee at K&M Sports, and we have actually came up with a shirt design and a sweatshirt. This is what the sweatshirt and shirt will look like. And if you recognize this symbol, so you can talk, so they can see it's actually from the back of Tennessee's helmets that they play with. But so the shirts, all the profits from the shirts, which the shirts are $14 and the sweatshirts are $24, will be going to the rebuilding of homes in Western North Carolina. So like, we're not collecting none of the profits. We're actually partnering with New Haven as well to make sure all the profits go to the rebuilding of homes. Okay. And as you mentioned, the sticker, this is on the back of the University of Tennessee football helmets. The week after the hurricane, they had those on the back of that. So it's got a sports connection as well. Yeah. And, it's not an unfamiliar thing. So did you have to get a license to use that, or did they just allow it? They actually just allowed it. So that's great. All right. And so, again, the T-shirts are how much? The T-shirts are $14, and then the sweatshirts are $24. Okay. And so if I want to get one of these, how do I do that? Okay. So how to get one is I have actually made a Facebook post, and I have shared it with Laylee Crabtree and K&M Sports. And you can just comment, and then you can pay and pick up at K&M Sports. And it is located in the middle of town. What is it? Alberta Street? That is the middle of town. Yep. Alberta Street, I guess. Main Street? Main Street or the 4-lane? Up and down the 4-lane? Yeah.
Alberta is not Main Street.
Where is it? What's it beside?
Creative Pools.
Creative Pools. Okay, down in the
downtown.
Bend. So it is Alberta.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But not Main Street.
So that's where you would pick this up.
I don't know where he got that from.
I don't either.
Do they have
we just roll with him.
Do they have to pay? Can you pay like PayPal or different ways, or do you just go in and pay?
We're solely trying to just do cash. Okay. So like no taxes or anything go on the shirt, so all the profits can literally just go to the rebuilding of homes.
Okay. All right. And so is there a limited amount of time? Because one of the things I've learned about this disaster is that there's this common knowledge that in the first 2 weeks after something happens, everybody's rushing to help, and then we just don't hold the thought of anything longer than a couple of weeks. And now is the time when people are kind of forgetting about it, fading away, and there's still so much to do over there because it was so overwhelming. So is there a time frame you're trying to get these done in, or what are you looking at?
I mean, not really. I mean, we already have 4 big orders. So like we really are wanting more orders, but if they start to wind down, then we'll just like be like, hey, this is like the last week, blah blah blah. But there's not a particular date. No.
But you would see on the Facebook. You would post it on Facebook.
I've been keeping them updated on Facebook.
So now, I mean, once again, I'm going to hold this shirt up for Greg. And you think about, you got the shirt, you got the sweatshirt, because we're getting ready to be in sweatshirt weather. Not this week. This week we're back to T-shirt. Last week was sweatshirt. But, this is a great opportunity, and Christmas is coming up. I mean, it'd be a great gift for someone, and you're not only buying a gift for someone, but you're donating to a good cause.
Yes.
Okay, and so and follow you on now. Give people the spelling of your name. There's different ways to spell Cameron. So.
Okay.
How do they find you?
How you spell my name is Kamryn, and then Stiltner, Stiltner.
Okay. And they can follow your Facebook page.
Yes, or they can follow Laylee Crabtree.
Okay, that's even harder to spell.
Yeah, or K&M Sports. That's pretty easy to spell.
K&M.
K&M.
K&M Sports. Okay, all right. Those are your ways. What else? What else you want to talk to us about today? Anything else? I'm gonna let me ask you just real quick about soccer, because I watched. They did the soccer games, and I got to watch. And boy, you all had a big shootout win.
That was
you were standing
crazy.
there in goal. Was that a great way to finish the season? I know that wasn't the end, but that was a great game. Oliver Springs, right?
So, yes, that game against Oliver Springs, I swear, was the best game of the season, honestly. I mean, I was playing goalie, so I was very scared. Like, I was like, oh, my gosh, I don't think I can do the penalty kicks. Like, I've never done it before. But, I mean, I just went out there. I was like, I'm just going to give it my all, and that's what I done. So,
all right.
But, I mean, we beat them, and we knew that Kingston was very good when we went to see them. Or to play them in the championship, and I think we kind of beat ourselves up in that game, honestly. But, I mean, when we played Chucky, though, for our last game, I was like, they are so beatable, but the weather was absolutely terrible, and we didn't play our best. But, I mean, I hate to see the season go, but I'm excited for basketball season.
Oh, yeah. So basketball, that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
What's the first game? Are you practicing yet?
No, we don't start practice for 2 more weeks. But honestly, I don't know what our first game is. Maybe Wartburg.
Okay, so it's somewhere around Thanksgiving usually.
Yeah, it's on the 26th.
Okay.
But I don't know who we play.
Okay.
I think it's Wartburg.
And what year are you this year?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. So.
Yeah.
So another year in the AA ranks, and then drop back down to single A for your senior year.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, you stay healthy, okay?
I'm going to try to. I've been getting this eerie feeling that something bad's going to happen to me, but I don't know why, but hopefully we can stay away from injuries.
Sitting by Ben, it happens to me too. Anytime I'm near him, I get that eerie feeling. And usually something bad does happen to me, Cameron, but you'll be okay. You don't have to be around him much.
Okay. So what did you call Tim during the break?
What?
Oh, yeah, come on.
Scott County can't do that.
No, we're not doing that. Miss Scott County's.
Seriously, those are good looking shirts. A lot of times you see fundraiser shirts, and you got to work so quick. You put together a design really quick, and it's just whatever kind of can I say that? It's kind of bland sometimes. That is a great looking. I mean, that's a shirt I would wear. I would wear that. Matter of fact, I'm going to get one, and I'm going to wear it.
Well, it took us a while to actually come up with a good shirt design. And I was going back and forth, and then I saw this on TikTok, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, I feel like men and women can both wear it.
Are all the shirts tan? Are they
different? They're all this color. I was like, well, this is a good color for fall, winter.
Sure.
So, and it's just simpler because I was hoping we would get a lot of orders. So,
all proceeds go to hurricane relief, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay. All right. Cameron, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Scott County. Fairest to the fair, Cameron Stiltner. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll turn back to football on the round table. Welcome back to the round table on the IH Sports Network, live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. I'm Ben Garrett. He's Tim Smith. Greg Bond is behind the computer. Leetta Boyd's guarding the door to keep anybody from busting in on us if they get angry about something. Not that we would say anything to make anyone angry, but just in case. We're going to talk more now about Oneida's 31-6 win over Greenback on Friday as we're joined by our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, Evan Cotton. He's a junior. And our First National Bank player of the game, Cole Meredith, and Tim thought he was a freshman, and I had to correct him and say that Cole's a sophomore.
You know better than that.
Yeah.
That's not me. No,
that was me. I thought Cole was a freshman.
No, but now listen, that doesn't mean that I have been very good this year at not calling you TJ or Phil or whatever. I don't know if you go back and watch them, that happens to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I get that a
What's
lot.
wrong with all of us announcers that watch you?
know.
I mean, it's very simple. It's Cole. Let's get this right. It's the numbers confusing, right? And we're all in that situation.
He sounds a lot like Phil when he talks.
He does.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And runs a lot like Phil used to run back in the day.
That's that, and even more this week. I'm going to get to Cole in just a minute. I'm going to start with Evan, though. So, Evan, you're here this week as the lineman of the week, and this kind of stems for me from one of the things I saw you doing 2 weeks ago. You were on the sideline getting the Indian fans going, and that's not something that you do infrequently. I've been told you try to fire up the sideline just as much. Do you fire up the team and the sideline? Where does that come from?
Well, I feel like when you fire up the crowd, I feel like the atmosphere sets the tone of the game.
Yeah.
And it really plays a big part on who comes out and wins the game.
Right.
A lot of times when the crowd was cheering, we'd get them to false start or something because they couldn't hear their quarterback cadence or something. So it really plays a big part.
So tell me, this year there's been a lot of injuries up and down the line, different combinations, different things going on. How hard is that when you don't know who's going to be playing to your left or to your right from week to week?
It's pretty hard. I've played guard and tackle this year. First time playing tackle was against Polk County.
Okay.
I did let up my first sack of the season against them because it was pretty difficult switching from guard playing for the last 2 years and then going to tackle.
What's the biggest difference in moving from, because from somebody that doesn't know football very well, which is probably me, it looks like, hey, you're just moving one slot to the right, but you only have a person to your left now, or did you play right or left tackle?
Right.
Right
left,
tackle.
Left tackle.
Left tackle. So you only had somebody to your right, and you were on the end unless you had a tight end. So, but what's the biggest difference in tackle and guard from a lineman?
I feel like when you're at guard, you get more of the bigger guys in there, a little slower, And really, when you're bigger, you can block them better. And then once you get out there at tackle, you got a lot of speed rushers and stuff, so that speed on the edge can really get you.
Okay, is that what the Polk County brought, somebody that was quicker? So how do you counteract that? Because you're a bigger guy. You didn't used to be, but you're a bigger guy. You work out in your strength, and that's the guard part like you're talking about. So what do you do if you're not as quick to try to counter those quick moves?
Really, you just got to have good footwork, get your kick step right. If they try to post, you got to have that post foot ready to step in there and stop them.
Now, who's teaching you all these techniques? Who's line coach?
Mark Martin.
Coach Mark Martin. So he's also defensive coordinator. He's line coach both sides, right? Offensive and defensive. So I'm going to turn to you now, Cole. I got the name right, like that, like nothing. All right. So Cole, you've been starting for some time. The Indians have had some injuries at running back through this year. We had Xander was the starter at the beginning of the year. Jesse Zachary was getting a lot of carries, and they're both different type of runners than you, but both of them have been. Certainly Jesse wasn't available this last week. Xander's been out for a while, and you have pretty much been the starting running back for a few weeks now. You're a little bit smaller than those guys, but you offer a little bit different look to the other teams. What do you feel like is your best quality?
Just running. Just running the ball, really. I don't know. I don't know, really.
I feel like you're probably a little quicker than those two guys once you get your speed up, you think?
Yeah, well, I feel like I can juke more.
Okay. Let me go back to something we talked about this past Friday night. It seems like through the year, it seems like this past Friday was different. Like you looked different, almost like you were letting the plays develop a little bit. You were a little more patient and letting things set up. And it seemed to work out really well for you. You kind of didn't feel like you had to just run straight into something, but you were taking time. Is that something? Because you're young, you're a sophomore, and so you got to learn how it's going to work in high school. Do you feel like that was kind of what you were doing this past week?
Well, Coach May improves me on my runs some, but Evan and the line have gotten some better blocks that game, and it just improved me to run better.
Okay, and so you had a big. What was the the yardage on that biggest run this week? It was 40-something, wasn't it?
I'm not for sure.
50.
I think it was 49.
50.
50, 49
50
something.
on the button.
I mean, half the field in one strike. But it wasn't just that. You had a couple of touchdowns as well. I mean, some of them were tough yards, goal line yards you were getting in. And what has it been like, with all the injuries, and you never know who's going to be, like I asked Evan, you never know who's going to be the guard, the center, the tackle. And, I mean, it affects the running back as well, right? Because you try to plan what's going to be going on up in front of you. Does it feel like we're at a place where it's a little more solidified now, as long as nobody gets hurt?
Yeah, I mean, you could see it as that, but I really just see it as, I mean, something's going to happen different times. You just got to do what you got to do. Okay.
All right. So now let me ask you about defensive. Y'all don't play a lot on defense. You play some, right? You both get some snaps defensive. Where will you be defensively? Are you going to be doing that more as the years progress?
Well, usually on defense, I play at the Rover, and William Hill, he's right there. I usually don't get him as much, but he'll sub me in every, 3 plays or something, maybe.
Okay. All right. But as when you turn to be a junior, there's going to be more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So those are coming. What about Evan? Where are you mostly if you're on defense?
I play defensive tackle.
Okay.
I'll probably be playing more next year, considering we're losing Cam this year.
Right.
So that'll have us some solid guys up there still.
So what's important if you're playing defensive tackle? What's the important thing, the important assignment for a defensive tackle that you're supposed to do?
I really think it's just holding your gap. Tackle the dive if it's there, rush the passer if it's a pass. It's just getting back there and getting after it.
Okay. Let me ask you, so this season we've had only 3 home games. It seems like we're hardly at home. And the last 2 home games have kind of had this similar feel where the other team got off to a big start in the first half, and then we're scrambling back in the second half. What do you think can be done to have a better start to the games here when we go to Kings Academy and then when we finish up at home against Bledsoe? What's the key to getting a fast start instead of what's happened?
I really think we just need to show up to play. I feel like our heads haven't been right a little bit, and that's the start of the game, and we got to get right in the head and then go after it.
Did you take any of these teams lightly? I mean, you had beaten Polk County last year, Tellico. Did you feel like, well, it's Tellico Plains, we're going to beat them, or what caused the slow start, do you think?
We knew that every team we played was going to be tough because there ain't a team on our schedule that isn't going to be tough.
Right.
I feel like we just haven't been ready to play. I don't know.
Of course, and just like Cole we're talking about, you've had different quarterbacks, you've had different running backs, you've had all the different linemen and things. What do you feel like is the key to Oneida getting a better start this Friday night when you go to Kings Academy?
Just bringing it more hard in practice and just listen to the coaches and just take it 100%.
A lot of folks say you play like you practice, right? So are we practicing? Are we practicing well enough this week? You're one day in this week. Did practice go good today?
Oh yeah, it went really good. Our JV had a scrimmage, so it's just been like or varsity players practice today.
Okay. All right, Evan, I'm going to ask you, so before you played, did you watch a lot of Oneida football? Have you grown up watching Oneida football, or how did you decide to get on into the team and on?
Yeah, I always wanted to play for Tony Lambert because I saw him coaching. He's a really good coach, very respectable coach.
Okay.
And I just was like, yeah, I'm going to play football when I go to Oneida. Didn't play freshman year. I was in the band, actually. Because Tony had left, and then Coach May and Coach West had talked to me, and they talked me into playing, and then I've been playing since last year.
So you went to the band, then you came off the field from the band, and what instrument did you play?
The mellophone and trumpet.
All right. Well, I know the trumpet's hard because that's what I played. That's not true. Trumpet, mellophone is tough to get a good sound out of. All right. So do you play any other instruments?
No, not really.
But you've always had an interest in music.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite music?
I don't know.
What do you listen to?
Country mostly.
To get going. What's the song that's going to get you going Friday before the game?
I don't know. Anything upbeat.
Anything got to beat. What about? Are you a music guy, Cole?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Do you play any instruments?
No, I don't play.
No,
I just listen.
You play. Put it in the headphones and play it. What do you listen to?
I mean, I listen to country and maybe some hard rock songs for the game.
Okay. Stuff your dad make you listen to when you're little?
Yeah.
All right, I can't have Cole here and not just ask you, does he make you go back and watch any of his games, or have you watched many of his games?
I have watched some before, but he don't tell me. No.
He doesn't? What would you say about what you have watched of him?
He was really fast. That's what everyone really says about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he really was. He was an amazing athlete. I think, and you know, your big brother suffered through the injuries, and I think you guys got the same qualities. I think y'all are all special, and great attitudes too. I mean, I think your dad's a great guy, and he helps with the coaching, right?
Yeah, he does.
So what's his main role with coaching?
Well, he coaches the middle school. I think he is a running back coach, and he does DB coaching too.
Okay. Does he offer a lot of tips to you, or does he kind of try to not be all about football all the time with you guys?
Well, he's always wanting me to take it 100% and do the best I can and stuff. Just work as hard as I can.
Okay. Evan, who do you like when you came onto the team? You know, you come over from the band, you come to the team. Who's a player or some players that, like, when you came in, they welcomed you in and they were glad to have you on the team and have been mentors, to use that word, somebody that an upperclassman that was like, you made you feel welcome to the team?
I'd say Cam.
Cam?
Yeah.
All right. And what about Cam? Strikes me as kind of like a leader on the team for everybody. Like, you know, is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah. What about from your group, from your skill groups, or is there a running back that's been kind of somebody that you've admired or looked up to?
Well, I'd say my brother, but I mean, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know. No.
Okay. All right. So, coaching wise, talk to us about you know, of course, Coach May's the head coach, but there's a lot of different coaches there. You mentioned Mark Martin is the line coordinator. Who's the running backs coach?
Coach Hamby, Brian Hamby.
Okay, Brian Hamby. What about Coach Martin, Coach Hamby? What do you feel like? And I'll start with Evan. What's the thing that Coach Martin does best in coaching? What's the best aspect of his coaching abilities?
I really say he knows a way to get to us.
Okay.
Like, he really sits there and he'll get to us, like in practice. If we false start or something, he'll make us go grab some hedge all the way on the other side of the field.
All right.
And we don't jump off sides after that.
So he's got some discipline about him. Okay.
He's a lot on conditioning as well. He wants us to be ready for the game coming up and about pad level.
Okay. All right. What about Coach Hamby? What are the things that he stresses to you guys?
He really wants us to do good too. He likes more of like us, like finishing through all plays and stuff, just working hard.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this. Do you have a favorite team you watch on Saturdays or Sundays or both? Evan, do you have a favorite college or pro football team?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Wow. So you'd be you're wanting them to implement I know Philly calls it the tush push or whatever. That's what you'd like to see Oneida put in there for 4th and 1, right? Okay. What about college?
I honestly don't watch much of it anymore, but used to.
Okay. Who's your favorite Eagle?
Jason Kelsey used to be.
Jason Kelsey, retired. Okay. What about you, Cole? You got any favorite college or pro?
I really don't watch any NFL, but I'm a fan of the Vols, though.
Okay. Big Saturday then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, got at least 2 games left, and if you can win those, then maybe the math will fall your way and you get some more. But I want to thank you for joining us. And, Evan, great job on the line and getting after people in the stands, you know, to get behind the team. I think that's a great thing. And then, Cole, I'm looking forward. Every week you get better. You made a big jump this last week, and I'm sure it's going to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask one question?
Absolutely.
So, Cole, you say that you talk about your dad being fast, and that's what everybody remembers about Phil Meredith is how fast he was. He was a very fast guy in high school. Now, if you line up 16-year-old Cole Meredith and 40-year-old Phil Meredith, okay, he's a little older than 40, but I don't want to guess and add on to it, and you run a 40, who wins? Can you beat your old man is what I'm saying. Because you're a pretty quick guy.
I really don't think I could.
Even now.
Probably now, I definitely could.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
Talking about
Has
now.
he slowed down any?
But, I mean, a little bit. He's still quick. Like, he moves.
He looks like he's still
Yeah.
got it. He does.
Yeah.
Okay, Evan, how about it? You and John Cotton line up and run a 40. Who's going to come out on top?
Probably me.
Okay, you better be able to. All right, Evan Cotton, our lineman of the game, and Cole Meredith, our player of the game. Congratulations, guys. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to flip to Scott High football and talk to Dawson Spradlin and Eli Kidd. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Tim Smith, I'm Ben Garrett, and we're joined now by Dawson Spradlin and Eli Kidd. Eli was our Trophy Masters lineman of the game. Dawson was our first National Bank player of the game. Second time this season, Dawson has been our player of the game. And I'm got to start with Eli because Eli, we talked about this after the game Friday night, so you back up a week earlier against Union County, and our lineman of the game was Mason Llewellyn, who very much deserved it from him. He played great on the defensive line, did a good job. But after the game, I thought about that, and I thought, you know what? The left side of the line was opening holes, gaping holes all night long for those running backs. So why didn't one of those guys get it? It could have been the tackle, could have been the guard. And Eli, you tell me, remind me who plays guard beside of you.
Hayden Mason.
Hayden Mason. Anyway, so Friday night, and it wasn't like a carryover like, oh, Eli should have got it last week, so he's going to get it this week. Eli was out there again doing his thing, and Harris and I were looking at each other and making a comment. And at the same time we're making this comment with our headsets off, Eli is 15 yards down the field, I think, on maybe a fourth down play. I don't know if you remember the play I'm talking about, but it was a critical down. Scott High converted, got the first down, and you're 15 yards down the field, making the block to help your guy. Maybe Dawson even, I don't remember. You helped somebody pick up that first down.
I think it was Desmond Bowen.
Desmond Bowen, all right. Sorry, Dawson, I was trying to give you credit. Another play that stands out, by the way, I want to mention this one too. I wish I had thought about this ahead of time. I could have had Greg to dial it up to play it. Alcoa had a 95-yard pick six in the first half. You guys remember that. We don't need to rehash that unfortunate play. But whatever, Alcoa is a great football team. Now, there were two guys, and I don't remember who there was one skill position guy that was at the lead of the pack, chasing him back down the field. Desmond,
yep.
Again, Desmond Bowling. Okay. But right there with him was number 54. So I just want to know, where did the speed come from? Man, you were flying down the field.
I didn't know I had that speed.
Didn't give up on the play.
I've never ran that fast in my life.
You ever going to run that fast again?
I hope so.
Yeah, so, okay. You almost had him. And Alcoa, anybody who's watched Alcoa knows that team's got a ton of speed. So I was like, dang, where did that speed come from? So I admire you. I give you credit for the speed. And Dawson Spradlin, 2 touchdowns on Friday night. Now, Dawson, at the start of the season, you weren't a huge part of the offense, but you become more and more of a factor as the season has gone along. First as a receiver. Now you guys are getting short on running backs. You're sliding in and playing more of a role there. 2 touchdowns against Alcoa. Now, folks at home may not realize what a big deal that is. It's the first time Scott High has scored 2 touchdowns against Alcoa since 2016. That was a really good Scott High team. I don't remember. Leetta may be able to tell us. I don't remember if there was a player on Scott High's team that year that scored 2 touchdowns, but you're at least the first Highlander in 8 years to score multiple touchdowns on Alcoa. So tell us about your game Friday night.
I mean, I just went out there and played. And I mean, we knew we were playing a tough team, and all we really planned on doing was just going out there and playing and giving it our all. And then I ended up just up front, gave me a great block, a hole creased open, and I just took off and went and scored.
So I want to know, and you tell me, in the first half I felt like, I don't think it's unfair to say, I felt like Scott High played a little bit timid. Like, they realized the opponent across the ball was Alcoa. And at halftime, Coach Bill Hall said that we were a little timid in the first half. You guys weren't timid in the second half. So tell me first, do you agree? Were the guys a little timid in the first half? And what did you guys change up in the second half?
Yeah, I agree with that. What we changed in the second half, we really were just they just really told us to just go out there and play and just do our best. I mean, everybody knew we were playing a really tough opponent. So.
And you wound up outscoring Alcoa 14-7 in the second half. So you can say you won the second half, and that's not it doesn't count on the win-loss column, obviously. But Alcoa is a very good football team, and so what does that mean for you all, for a player's perspective, to be able to say we went out and I don't think it's unfair to say you outplayed them in the second half.
I mean, it's not really good how our performance was at the start of the game, or the start of first half, but, I mean, we did a lot better during the second half of the game, and I was pretty proud of my performance, and everybody else's too.
But you had a performance to be proud of for sure. Now, and I'm gonna get to you, Eli, in just a second. But let me ask you this: Michael Bond is down, Cameron Bond has gone down, and we understand Cameron's probably going to get to come back. I don't know. Is it going to be back this week?
I have no clue when he'll be back.
But you guys are starting to get thin at the skill positions on the offensive side of the ball, which means as we go into these last 2 weeks of the season, really winnable games, a playoff spot still potentially there for the taking. Number 12 is going to have to play a big role. So you had a great game on Friday night. Now, what do you got for this Friday night against Pickett County?
Well, I mean, I've recently had to step up at corner and play some corner because we've lost 2 of our guys. And against Pickett County, it's just pretty much going to be the same thing. Just, I don't know.
Okay. Eli, I want to ask you, you have been bringing it on the offensive line. Now, there was a game, and I don't remember which game it was, but Coach Billy Hall came up after the game, or maybe it was at halftime, and he said, we're getting beat up front, and basically said it's not acceptable. You guys have played much better on the offensive line, I feel like, the last few weeks. What are y'all bringing? What have you changed anything? Is it like a focal point of practice, or are you just manning up, as they say?
I think just manning up, really. We've because there was that halftime, Alcoa, he told us we were getting beat pretty bad, and then we stepped it up a little bit in the second half. And, I mean, we won the second half, like you said. So,
what is it like? Coach Keith Shannon used to say when he coached at Scott High, and he was playing teams like Alcoa and Fulton every year, and Austin East back then was really on top of their game as well. And he made a point of saying that this is an opportunity for us to showcase what we are, what Scott High football is, to the big schools and the Knoxville market that all the media over there is paying attention to. And he looked at that as a big opportunity. Is that how you guys look at it going into these games against teams like Alcoa?
yeah, that's what they've said all week. Just go out there and play and try to, like, earn a scholarship or an offer or something.
So if you had to assess your performance, first half, I mean team performance, if you assessed it first half against Alcoa, what would you say it was? And if you assessed it second half against Alcoa, what would you say it was?
First was probably about a 2 out of 10, and then second half was probably about an 8 out of 10.
Okay. So specifically, some things that you guys did well against Alcoa that you can carry into this game against Pickett County, and then against Austin East as well. What specifically did you improve on that you can take care and going forward?
I'm not sure. Maybe probably pass blocking, pass setting a little better, and I heard Austin East got some pretty speedy guys on the outside, so pass set a little more.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask both of you. I'm going to start with Dawson. So last week, let's be honest, not many people gave you a chance of winning that game, but this week, almost everybody would say Scott High should be able to go out and take care of their business against Pickett County. Now, you got to take care of your business. You can't overlook them. You guys know that. Your players, your coaches are drilling that in your head this week, no doubt. But you guys still looking for that first win of the season. When you get it, that's going to be a big moment. What's it going to feel like if you can get that win against Pickett County, and how anxious are you guys to get that out of the way, get that under your belt?
Man, getting that first win, it's just going to feel great, and I think it's going to boost the morale up for the whole team and everything, and it's really going to get us going.
How about it, Eli?
It's going to be awesome when it happens, but then carry the momentum to Austin East next week and try to get a ticket in the playoffs.
Yeah, and for the folks at home, this is a home game Friday night. We heard Scarlett say earlier that for the first time in 5 years, I think she said, the band may be able to do their full halftime routine. So for what I'm saying is to the folks at home, good opportunity to get out, pack the stands this week. It's homecoming too, I believe. So good opportunity this week for the fans to get out and see the Highlanders hopefully pick up that first win of the season.
Can I grab a quick
jump right in?
Eli, so here's something I wonder, because I didn't play football, okay?
He was an all-state guy in band.
Which is not a surprise if you look at me, right? But if I had played football, I wouldn't have been a lineman, right? So I'm just curious about the mentality. When you lined up this past Friday night, let's just take it for example, how many different people did you line up against? Or was it the same guy most of the time, or how'd that work out?
I think until about halftime I had number 30 on me, and then I think I had about 3 or 4 guys after halftime, different numbered guys on me.
So 30. So when you saw him come out, you get your first look at him. What are you thinking? This guy's big. This guy's fast. I mean, what is there something that and if a guy's bigger than you, are you immediately worried, or are you thinking, oh, I've got a technique to deal with this guy? I mean, what's the thought process on that when you're outsized?
Well, there's a lot of time the guys will look bigger, and sometimes they just don't play like that. They're really worse than what they are. But 30, I really didn't know what to think of him until the first snap, and then, yeah.
What was the toughest part about dealing with him?
He was quick off the ball. He was really quick off the ball. Just trying to pass set on him, and he was, gone. He was really fast.
Of course, he's the starter, right? Mm-hmm. So, he's on a very competitive team, so he's going to be pretty good. What about, it's not going to be like that this week. So, when you see the guy that you're lining up against, do you talk to the other guys, or are you quiet? Do they talk to you? Do they try to get in your head? How's that work?
I've had a couple conversations mid-game, between snaps, but I do remember there was one play Friday night. We did it on 2. And they sent a blitz hard and had to back off of it. And I said, I think they're sending a blitz. And 30 said, good observation.
So you diagnosed it, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So now, and I'm going to ask you about switching to corner. You said you switched to corner. What were you before?
I used to play safety on defense, but I haven't really just played defense at all. I've just really been an offensive guy.
Okay.
But those injuries have made me have to step up at corner.
So now, who's the coach that's teaching you these cornerback techniques?
Mason Owens.
Okay, and what's going to be the toughest part for you in this movement? What's the thing that you feel like, I got to remember, I got to do this, I can't mess this up on the corner? What's an important thing to remember?
I mean, I don't know really. This week I think we're going to be playing a lot of man coverage, so I only got one job, and that's to cover my guy.
Do they throw a lot?
We don't really have any film on them or nothing. They don't have huddle.
Okay, all right. I was just curious. Didn't play football, just a question about the technique of playing football, what that'll be like. So best of luck, guys. I think you're going to get that first one, and I do hope you build on it. You got 2 weeks here at home to get some things done. So I think there's going to be an excited crowd out there to watch you guys tonight, homecoming crowd. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Dawson, I want to ask you, you're a senior. And among the main contributors on this team, it's a very junior-laden team. But you're a senior, and you seniors, you had it tough. You played for 3 different head coaches in your high school years. You started off, you played your freshman year for a coach, Josh Terry, and then you played for Chris Harris, and now Billy Hall's a senior. It would have been easy. Plus, by the way, you'd won, I think, 2 games in 3 years coming into this year. It would be easy just to hang it up and say, I'm done with it. And you and the rest of the seniors have persevered. Talk about that.
Well, it's definitely been tough. It's been a lot of adapting and learning under new coaches and everything. But, we've really handled it pretty well, I think. It's just we got to get the fundamentals right and start doing the little things right. And I think we could really start to get things going.
And as you watch these guys behind you, these juniors, and it seems like they're juniors making plays all over the field on Friday nights, I think that next year this program is set to take a big step forward. Now, you seniors are going to be able to look back and say we had a hand in that, especially if you win these last 2 games of the season. That's going to be looked at as kind of the turning point. But, what do you think? Are they ready to take a step forward? Are you going to come back out next year and watch them on Friday nights?
Most likely, yeah, definitely. I'll be happy to watch it.
All right, how about it, Eli? A lot of you juniors are stepping up this year, and I wish this guy, number 12, was a junior as well and had one more year left because he's been a big part of the offense the last few weeks. But you juniors really are making plays all over the field. Do you feel like – I think a lot of us that watch Scott High week in and week out, we can feel it getting close to turning. Do you feel like that as well?
Yeah, I do. I do feel like that.
What do you guys got to work on? And there's football to be played this season, and that could, if you end this season with momentum, that's going to be huge for next year. But what do you got to work on once this season is over to start getting ready to take that step next year?
Definitely at the weight room, condition a little more, just get bigger for next year.
All right, last question. Dawson, I don't know if you know this, but you are Harris Keaton's favorite player, and all of you boys are. The Keatons, they love the red, and all of you guys are their kids on Friday nights. But Harris Keaton specifically kept saying, I want Dawson Spradlin to get the ball. I want him to get the ball. And then all of a sudden, you got the ball. And I don't remember. You can tell me which game it was that you had your kind of coming out party at wide receiver. Was it Eagleton? Was it?
I think it was Kingston.
Kingston, yes, you're right. You're exactly right. And so Harris, he's sitting in the booth and he's saying, see, I told you we got to get him the ball. Was that a conscientious point in practice leading up to Kingston, or did you just find a way to get open in that game?
I think H had a big part in it. And
Really? Let's not tell him that. We don't want to cause his head to swell.
And then that week they just kind of game planned around me a little bit more to get me the ball, and I had 8 catches for over 100 yards. So against Kingston. That was
the kind of, to me at least, that was the Dawson Spradlin just exploding onto the scene game. And even though I didn't remember who the opponent was, it was Kingston. So are you telling us that H calls up Billy Hall during the week, or Billy calls up H, and they have kind of a strategy session? Is that what you're getting at?
I don't know. I seen
Probably not.
I seen the post game or whatever, and H was talking to Billy, and he said, "I've been telling you to get the ball to him."
Yeah, he did make a point of that. Yeah. All right, guys. Best of luck on Friday night. Hopefully, there's a big crowd out at Highlander Stadium to watch you guys, and it's gonna feel good to get that win, because I got confidence you guys are gonna do it this week. Eli Kidd, Dawson Spradlin, good luck. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we'll have our final segment on the roundtable. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. I'm Ben Garrett. He's Tim Smith. We got Greg Bond here. We got Leetta Boyd here. We got Tyler Atkins back for a second week in a row, even though Lauren told him to stay in the car and he didn't listen. And this is our final segment. And as always, we're going to take a look ahead at this week's – sorry, Tyler. We're going to take a look ahead at this week's games. First, we're going to talk to a couple of cheerleaders, sophomores, both of them. And from Oneida, Briley Rector. And from Scott High, Lauren Reynolds. And, Tim, I called Lauren up to the press box on Friday, and I said, "Lauren, come here." And she came up. She said, "You're going to ask me to be on the roundtable." She was really excited.
Really? That excited.
Yeah. And I said, call someone from Oneida. I'm going to let you. We haven't given any other cheerleader the opportunity to pick a friend to be with them. So, Briley, you're the lucky pick. So, thank you both for being here. And so let's talk about first, before we look at the games this week, let's talk about cheerleading. It's almost the end of the season, and we're getting right down to it. And both of you guys cheering basketball, am I correct? Mm-hmm. Football is not the end of the road. We usually ask each week, so I'll just ask you right off the bat, what's your favorite, football or basketball? And I guess what I'm asking is, are you starting to look forward to basketball, or are you going to miss football?
I'm going to miss football. I like cheering for football. It's outside, so.
I'm going to miss football too, but it's starting to get cold, so it's not the greatest right now.
So what is it about football besides being outside?
It's just like the atmosphere and everything. Just whenever you get a touchdown, the lights are flashing and all your friends are beside you and they're cheering on for you, and we get to do all kinds of stunts and showcases, and our student section is actually bigger for football, so it's just better.
Okay, let's talk about that for just a second. Sorry, we're going to get off cheerleading for just a second.
We'll be right here.
Let's talk about that, because this was an issue last year, and we've got a football player in the room with us. And I heard from basketball players, not that I had a couple of basketball players in my family or anything, but the basketball players would say, "Hey, we went to football games. Why aren't the football players coming to basketball games?" What do you think? You think the football players need to get out for basketball?
I know a couple of them did, but I don't think.
A couple of them did. You're right. We won't throw them all.
I don't think they got in the student section, though.
Okay, so they kind of just hung out.
Yeah,
okay.
I reckon so.
Okay, all right. So football season winding down, basketball season right around the corner. And what changes for you guys with your routine, practice routines either? Is anything different, or did you just jump straight from one into the next?
With homecoming week, it kind of resembles like a regular season or a regular week in basketball. Like homecoming week, we have practice Tuesday till 5 o'clock, Thursday till 5 o'clock. Which is a lot, but it kind of resembles basketball season, basically, for me, I feel like, because we practice so much.
And I was about to ask Briley, how many times a week do you guys practice?
We practice 2 times a week normally, sometimes 1. It depends on the week.
Okay. So there's no break, right? Y'all don't get to sit back in or football and say, okay, we're going to take a week-long break, 2 weeks. I mean, it's straight into basketball, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So what's it like? We've had a lot of scholar athletes on this week, the guys and girls who are playing sports and maintaining really good grades, and we talk about that. I mean, it's a lot to play sports, and cheerleading the same way. You're out there practicing, and cheerleading season goes all the way from the middle of August or whenever you start practice all the way into March. I mean, how do you do that? How do you balance school and cheering?
Well, really, we actually start in April.
That's right. Okay.
We do tryouts, and then June, July cheer camp.
Right.
August, then it really starts. And honestly, it's really not bad, but I'm a sophomore, but my freshman year, it was really hard.
How about it, Briley?
I think it's pretty hard. I have other things outside of cheer that I do a lot too, but for me, it's been pretty hard to manage everything, including school.
Now, we've had both of you guys on the round table last year during football season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And so I probably asked you this question. Now, you both cheered in middle school, right? Robbins?
I didn't.
No, you did not.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, then I've learned something then, because I thought you cheered in middle school. So I know your mom didn't cheer when she was in school. So what made you pick cheering over following her shoes in basketball?
I was never into basketball ever. I was around practices when my mom was coaching and all that, but it was never an interest for me.
How can you come from the Bond family and not play basketball?
I don't know. I get that all the time, but it's just not my thing.
Did you play any junior pro at all?
I played
No?
T-ball, but never basketball.
T-ball. Gotcha.
Okay. How about, I think your mom cheered, right?
No. She played soccer.
Okay.
We're a soccer family, actually.
Okay. And you are carrying on that tradition?
I did, but I don't think I will no more.
Okay. Well, you told me earlier in the season that it might be time to move on to to something else. All right. So, golly, Tim, jump in here. I lost my train of thought.
So,
I've got a question. I'm going to come back to it.
Okay. So, Briley, I'm going to ask you. You said you're into other things. So you're in the pageant circuit, right? I mean, so Cameron was here earlier.
That was what I was going to ask.
And she's. I was talking.
Sorry, Tim.
No, I'm just kidding. That's all right, Ben. No, but she's Miss Scott County, and she's talking about the things people think. Oh, you just win the pageant and it's over, but that's not how it is. So, what is the type of schedule that goes into the pageant circuit? If I'm calling it the right thing, but I mean, how often is it year round? Is it a certain season, or how does that work?
It kind of depends on the pageant. Every pageant, like there's a pumpkin pageant, it's yearly.
Mm-hmm.
The fair is yearly. But every pageant is different, so it really depends. And
so the Scott County Fair this year, they didn't have a question. Do you go to pageants where they have questions?
I've not. I've had dance competitions where I've had to answer questions, but I've never done a pageant with questions.
So what are some of the questions they ask you at a dance competition?
The last question I was asked was, if I had a movie, what would my movie be called?
Oh, wow. So let's do this. Let's ask Ben a pageant or a dance question that he might get. Not that one. We don't want him to be able to think of it ahead of time, because you got to just answer it, right?
Yeah.
So let's give Ben, and Lauren, you get ready to give Ben one too. You think about it. You may not be doing a lot of pageants, but let's test this man and let's see how he does thinking on his feet, since he slams Tyler back there for some reason. You know,
I apologize.
Knowing that both of us had to ask permission to come here tonight, you and I both. So, okay, Briley, have you thought of one that you want to give Ben?
No, she can't think of one.
Have you not? Have you got one, Lauren?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, great. Lauren,
Thanks,
what's the question for Ben?
As with Scott County, what is the first thing you will do to help our community?
I'm going to sell T-shirts to help flood victims.
That is
Okay.
That is plagiarism. That is not allowed.
Didn't Morgan Wallen do that?
Well, Cameron Stiltner did that. I don't know. Morgan Wallen probably did something like that.
Ben, you should just stop there and let the comparison to Morgan Wallen go and just bask in that, right?
Is that a good thing?
For you, it should be.
I mean, he's got more money than I do.
It's
That's
definitely
for sure.
a step up there. So, Briley, a couple games left. You've got senior friends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like those senior friends are getting sentimental, getting
They definitely are,
Do they
yeah.
all go on and cheer in basketball, or are some of them going to be done?
They're all cheering in basketball.
Okay, so they'll continue on. But you
Yes.
can tell they're getting a little.
All of us really love football, and football and basketball are completely different. So I feel like all of them are going to miss football, and basketball is just so different that it's not the same feeling. So
is there fewer on basketball? Am I right about that? Does it rotate some? Not everybody does every basketball game?
we go every home game, we all do, but on away games we have groups that we send to away games. So like half of us will go to one, and then half of us will go to the next.
Is it always the same half, or do you mix and match?
We have our set groups, and it goes back and forth. So like Group A goes one day, then Group B goes to the next game.
So there may be some seniors on Group A and some seniors on Group. And
Yeah.
you may not see Group B unless you're at a home game.
Yeah.
What about Lauren? Do you have some seniors on your squad that seem like they're kind of dreading to see the season end?
Yeah, I guess so. I know one of my friends, she's not continuing with basketball season. I don't think so.
Okay, so this is this is, she's got just a few games left in this season. Or is it something that, as a sophomore now, you've moved away from one sport in soccer, and now you're cheering? Is this something you feel like you're going to continue to do to the end? You're going to do 2 more years after this of cheering, or might you just spread your wings and do something different?
No, I don't think I can leave cheer.
Okay.
I like it too much.
All right, Briley, what do you think? You going to stick with cheering?
I'm going to stick to cheer.
Yeah. Is it something that, Lauren, you would stick with past high school? Would you consider trying to do it at the college level?
I don't think so. I think it's time to move on with life.
Okay. All right. Briley?
I would agree. I just don't think that's my area of what I want to go into in the future.
Do you know what you want to do? Have you got some thoughts?
I have some thoughts.
What do you want to do?
I want to go to beauty school, but I also want to dance professionally somehow.
Okay. Are you wanting to, when you say beauty school, there's so many different branches. You could do nails, you can do hair, you can do makeup, those type of things. Is it all of the above? Or I
want to do all.
Okay. Like for pageants and stuff like that?
Sure.
Yep. All right. Lauren, what are you thinking about doing?
Probably teaching. And if not, then I would want to be a news anchor.
That is, listen, now you do that, but let me tell you this. Let me tell you my path, Lauren, because
he was all state and band.
When I graduated, well, I wasn't, but when I graduated high school, I thought I want to be the next John Ward. I'm going into broadcasting. Then I found out, Lauren, that I had to type a certain number of words a minute. And I said, no, I'm just going to go into teaching. So I went into teaching, but now I'm still doing this. But if you were going into teaching, there's different types of teaching, right? There's the ones that come up and, they blow their nose on you. Okay, I see you don't want to be a kindergarten teacher. So then there's the ones that you help them tie their shoe, but they're still cute. And then there's the ones that are middle school, and you can teach a little bit more advanced thing, but they're really smart Alex. And then there's high school, and they think they know better than you. Which ones do you want?
Probably actually in between like 4th and 5th grade, because they're still kind of innocent, but they're not, I guess, immature. You don't need to help them all the time.
Any certain subject?
Definitely history or English. I hate math.
Gotcha. Me too. That would have been my answer. English, history. That would have been all good stuff. So basketball season coming up. What is there a team in basketball? This is a question both of you think about. A team in basketball that you look forward most to your school playing because you really want to cheer them on to beat this team. Who's that team, Lauren?
Clinton. All the way.
Okay. What about you, Probably
Coalfield.
Coalfield. All right. We've established that. Those are good answers.
I think if you're from Scott High, you don't much like Clinton. And if you're from Oneida, you definitely don't like Coalfield.
So I don't know if I'd say you don't like Coalfield, but you want to beat them, right?
You don't. Yeah. Go ahead and say it. You don't like Coalfield, do you? She doesn't like Coalfield. No. All right. So I really was going to ask about pageants before I got sidetracked, and Tim brought it up. Now, Briley's won multiple pageant titles, and I'm not even going to say what they are because I would get them wrong, but she has. And I don't think Tim realized that you were the reigning Miss Teen Scott County Fairs to the Fair.
I didn't.
And
no.
Yeah, see, so that's why she's popped off that question really quick, because she's been through this routine before. But I want to know from both of you, which is more nerve-wracking? I mean, to me, being in front of a crowd of people is nerve-wracking. So which is more nerve-wracking, being in front of a pageant crowd or being in front of a ball game crowd?
I think a pageant crowd, because whenever I was sitting there, like, waiting to give away my crown, my heart was racing that whole time.
Even when you're not competing?
Yeah, it's just because I feel like people are looking at you and you don't know if they're, like, judging you. And especially since the judges actually are judging, like, your beauty looks, your walk, your makeup, your hair, all of that. Personality, even on stage.
How about it, Briley? It seems to me at football, people are on their phones and eating their popcorn and stuff, but at the pageant, all eyes are on you. So would you say that's more nerve-wracking?
You walk up on that stage and everyone's staring at you, so it's definitely more nerve-wracking when you're the only person up there.
So how about it next year? Miss Scott County Fairs to the Fair pageant? Both of you? Are you both old enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both going to compete?
Maybe.
All right. Don't know.
I got
I think you
another question, Lauren. So broadcasting, you gonna join the IHSN one day? What?
I don't
Why
know.
did you laugh?
I don't know.
Wouldn't that be a dream come true? Okay, we better go on.
All right, let's talk about this week's games. Shall we do that? You guys?
Probably. Maybe not.
Just stop, Tim.
Okay.
So
sorry.
Before we talk about this week's games, do y'all keep up with high school football at all besides Oneida and Scott High?
No.
Okay. So if you looked at the way the picking panel has performed the last couple of weeks, obviously a lot of these other guys don't either. So, but let's talk about the games this week, and we'll start on my left with Oneida and Oneida's region. Oneida plays at Kings Academy this week. I think you guys are going to be there on Friday night. So I want to ask you to pick the winner. Tim, I know if I asked you to pick the winner, you're going to pick Oneida. Tim probably would too. But we got a thing here. We don't put you on the spot that way. But I am going to ask you, what is one thing Oneida has to do this week to beat Kings Academy?
I don't think I know football well enough to answer that question.
No.
I really don't know.
Score more points.
Score more points.
That's always Tim's answer.
Yeah,
it is. Okay, so Oneida 4-4 going into this game. Kings Academy is 2-6. Tim, this is a strange game because you look at Kings Academy's record and you say, well, they're not very good.
Don't look at that record.
Really tough schedule.
Yeah, they've played very good teams.
Should be a great game down in Seymour on Friday night. Hopefully everybody can get out and support the Indians in that one. McMinn Central at Tellico Plains, and both of these two teams are 5-3. McMinn Central does play at a higher level, but both teams are 5-3. So, Briley, what are you thinking? McMinn Central on the road at Tellico Plains. Don't look at Tim. He is. If you've seen, he was 5-5 last week.
Huh?
Can I give you their colors? That'll help on it.
No, it won't.
Oh, okay.
I don't know their colors. I don't pay attention.
So who's going to win? Just flip a coin.
Which ones did you say again?
McMinn Central and Tellico Plains.
Tellico Plains.
Yes, I'm going with her because I'm trying to make up ground.
Okay. I'm going to flip to Lauren and say McMinn Central or Tellico Plains.
McMinn Central.
Okay, so I'm going to side with Lauren because I think it's going to be McMinn Central.
I think they'd be
tough.
the favorite.
They're tough.
Yeah.
Okay, Gordonsville 6-2 at Bledsoe County 7-1. Now this one should be a dandy. 6-2 Gordonsville, 7-1 Bledsoe County. It's at Bledsoe County. Have you been to Bledsoe County?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Watching your brother. Yeah, I started to say you haven't been there as a cheerleader, but you were there watching.
Last year?
That's right. It was at Bledsoe County last year.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah, 2 years ago you did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what do you think? Gordonsville or Bledsoe County?
Bledsoe.
Bledsoe. She is loyal to the region, Tim. What do you think?
Well, my middle name is Gordon. So with that scientific note in mind and the fact that I need to make up ground, it's a very good single A team, Bledsoe County. I don't want to give them any reason. They're not paying attention to me probably, but I mean, I feel like they better be careful with Gordonsville. But I'm going Gordonsville with the upset.
Do you know who else has a middle name Gordon? G. Gordon Liddy. That was a Kevin Akers joke. I apologize. What about it? Gordonsville or Bledsoe County?
Gordonsville.
Once again, I got to go with – sorry, Briley, you're outnumbered on this one.
You're going Gordonsville too?
I'm going Gordonsville. I am. Lauren seems like I think she did her research. Did you study?
No, I didn't at all.
Okay.
Just guessing.
Sweetwater. They have struggled this year. They're 1-7. They're going to Polk County. Polk County's 4-4. Probably a little bit better than what the record would indicate. Polk County's a solid football team. You've seen Polk County this year. What do you think? Polk County or Sweetwater?
I'll go with Polk County.
I agree. Riley's got this one.
All right, I'll make it unanimous. It's going to be Polk County. Wartburg Central 2-6. They are at York Institute 6-2. You've seen both of those two teams, Briley. What do you think? Wartburg or York Institute? It's in Jamestown.
York.
Agreed.
York.
That's an easy one. It's going to be York by a lot over Wartburg. No offense, Wartburg, but York's just got a really good football team. All right, let's flip to this side of the table now, and same rule applies. If Rick were here, I wouldn't make him pick a winner, Pickett County and Scott High, but we all have got our pick in this game, right? But I am going to ask you, what is one thing Scott High needs to do to get that first win of the season?
Run the dang ball.
Run the dang ball. Billy Hall, if you're watching, run the dang ball. Would you tell him that if he were standing here?
No. No.
All right. Well, I do have a prediction. So, number 4, he's a defensive end, and he's been getting held all season long. We talked about that last week when he was on the round table. I think this week, Pickett County, they're not going to have an answer for him. What do you think?
I don't think so.
No, I don't either. All right, he's going to be a disruptor. All right, Pickett County is 1-7. Scott High again looking for that first win. It's homecoming at Highlander Stadium this week. No excuse not to get out and watch that one. Union County and Austin East, 2-1-17. Lauren, big playoff implications in this one. Who you got?
Austin East.
Austin East. How about it, Briley?
Austin East.
Well, actually, wait, hold on.
Hold on.
Who'd you say again? Union County and Austin?
Union County and Austin East.
I think I'm going to go with Union County, actually.
I thought you had studied.
She said she didn't.
No. They're right.
How
I
many
got
times
it
did she
now.
get a change?
I got it
Is there
now.
a rule?
I was thinking of a different team. Sorry. I got it now.
Okay.
I got it now. Austin East.
Austin East. and you pick Austin East. What about it, Tim?
I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, stick with Austin East. No, Austin
I
East
was
just
thinking of
has
something else.
Austin East has got a lot of speed, but could it be a close ball game though? We'll see. Alcoa 5-1. This is the game this week in East Tennessee. Alcoa 5-1. They're playing at Maryville, and Maryville is 8-0. What do you think?
Maryville.
Maryville.
I agree.
Yeah, Maryville dominates the series, and they're probably going to get another one this year. All right, that's it. That's all of our games this week. Kingston doesn't play. The last team in Sky High's region.
Tennessee's off.
Is off, yeah. So a little bit of a light weekend for us college football watching folks. Good luck this week to you guys as you go to Seymour to see the Kings Academy in Oneida, and you'll be at home for homecoming. And how exciting is that as a student? Homecoming. Is it another notch?
I love homecoming week. I'm busy Monday through Friday, every single day. I don't think I'll go to class at all Friday.
All right. Good luck as you close out this football season and get ready for basketball season. Maybe we'll get you guys back on during basketball season. Good luck to Scott High on Friday. Good luck to Oneida on Friday. Good luck to you too, Tyler, by the way, since I dogged you earlier. And anyway, for Greg Bond, for Leetta Boyd, for Tim Smith, we want to say that for Rick and H, as they continue to take care of their mother who had an accident a couple weeks ago, we hope that she is on the mend and getting better. We'll see you guys on Friday. We'll see all the rest of you guys on Friday as well. Our broadcast will begin at 6:30 as we go into Week 10 of the high school football season. Good night.